Okay, so today we're going to be reacting to How Greed Ruined Gaming by Gabby Bell. And before we get started, I just want to quickly tell you guys why there hasn't been any video essays. And the reason why is because it's exam season. And there's been I've had a couple of other personal issues, but I won't get too deep into that. But the video essays are coming. Just, I'd say give it till around May 15th. That's when my exams will end, and that's when I'll be able to start working on them. But other than that, we're going to get straight into the video, and I hope you guys enjoy.
World's first quadruple A game called Skull and Bones, and in true Ubisoft fashion, it kinda sucked.
You will see that Skull and Bones is a fully fledged game, he said. It's a very big game, and we feel that people will really see how vast and complete that game is. It's a really full quadruple A game that will deliver in the long run.
Guys, we promise that not only is this game real, but it's complete. And we did finish it. People are really going to see that we did finish the game, and that's how good it is. It's not a little secret that big studios are dropping big stinky poop out of their butts for $60 or even $70 now. In the past decade, it seems there's been a trend of AAA games releasing in unplayable states. The game is broken, buggy, or even unplayable. Remember when they used to make games that worked upon release? Remember when releasing a game meant that it was done? You'd think if a game is ready to be purchased by millions that it should be in working condition, right? Right, guys? I'm gonna need to get out my exercise ball and green screen for this one. This isn't gonna work very well. AAA studios are so caught up in overworking their employees to launch a non-working game that everyone hates that they spent $70 on, riddled with predatory microtransactions after you've already purchased the full game. And they don't see how much that hurts their franchises in the long run, because their current model is designed for maximum profit and not maximum enjoyment of consumers. Isn't that counterintuitive? 2K started putting ads in the game after you already bought it. Hello?
Oh, that was crazy when that happened.
Cyberpunk released with game-breaking glitches because it wasn't done. But despite not being ready, delaying the release by another year would piss shareholders and investors off, so they decided that this was the best financial decision for them, regardless if the game was done. So they figured, hey, some profits is better than none, am I right, guys? Hey, who gives a fuck if this type of shit happens? Currently, the game apparently works great now. They've fixed many of the bugs and everything, but it's too little too late in my opinion. You get a reputation for doing that sort of thing. Diablo 4, I couldn't even play couch co-op without glitches that made the game completely unplayable. There was no option to just play offline locally for no reason, so we couldn't even enjoy our Chad Eddie Burback warrior roleplay. I ended up uninstalling the game after several tries over several days, and never played again. Which I don't understand. We solved online multiplayer roleplay like 20 years ago. Greed is such a driving factor for why so many people just hate AAA gaming now, and it's hard to deny. Ubisoft's CEO spouted how you shouldn't expect to own the games that you buy.
Okay, no, I need to specifically talk about that quote. Hold on, let me just go back. This right here, oh my days. Like, all I'm gonna say is that this is scumbaggery. I don't have another word that I can really call it other than that. So I'm going to quickly explain a situation that happened recently with a game called The Crew. So The Crew essentially was a racing game where you could, it wasn't even really race. We can race all over the United States, but the whole idea was that you can drive around every state in the United States. So what does Ubisoft do? They make the game always online, and then they gave the game a date for when the servers were going to go off. So obviously, people who own the game said to Ubisoft, okay, can you at least make an offline mode so we can continue to have the game that we paid for? Ubisoft said, nope. You got to this day, and then after that, I don't know what the date was, you got to this date, and after that, you can't have the game. So that date came, and the game got delisted, and people who own the game cannot play it if you own a physical copy. So honestly, Ubisoft are scumbags. Ubisoft are like the worst. if not the worst company in gaming right now. So yeah, like I will never purchase a Ubisoft game. They've got a Star Wars game coming out soon, but bro, no way.
CEO spouted how you shouldn't expect to own the games that you buy. As in, gaming will be a service. If you don't own the game you buy, it can be taken away, modified, patched. You spent money on a product you don't own, which is just terrible, and also explains why Diablo has no option to play offline. When servers go down, then what? When Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 5 released in 2015, the full game was actually just a modified demo disc that only had the first level on it, and then authorization that allowed you to download the rest of the game to your console. They did this because they didn't have time to print the full game disc, and when servers for the game went offline, buying the full game disc now does nothing. It's pathetic. And that's on top of how the game just didn't release in a playable state. John Riccicello, the former CEO of EA, notoriously greedy company, and who is now the current CEO of Unity, in 2011 proposed a model that would charge players real money to refill their ammo in online multiplayer shooters like Battlefield. This scumbag was partly responsible for expanding the popularity of microtransactions in games, and even proposed to charge gamers per bullet fired in games. He said, "When you are 6 hours into playing Battlefield and you run out of ammo in your clip and we ask you for $1 to reload, you're really not that price sensitive in that point in time."
Are you stupid?
Since he's now the CEO of Unity, a popular game engine for indie devs, in 2023, John Cello introduced a pricing system that would charge devs each time someone installs their game. That's on top of already paying thousands of dollars a year to use Unity. That's like if Adobe charged me every time I uploaded a video on top of already paying them $50 a month. Not even they are that greedy. That's how greedy this guy is. There's more specifics to the pricing, but this absolutely kills projects, especially ones meant to be free. This dude is a villain to the industry, and I don't know how he became the CEO of another company to ruin. It's just really sad the direction that
Unfortunately, I'm gonna obviously speak more about this after, you know, we got past a little bit of this part of the video. But unfortunately, the reason why he's a CEO and he's a successful CEO is because he is greedy. And that's the unfortunate reality of once an industry, that's what I'm talking about. Once an industry becomes popular, that is the unfortunate reality of it. Obviously, I'm going to go a lot more into this after, you know, we've gone through this part of the video, but yeah, it's actually really sad. But
modern gaming is taking, with not only these greedy CEOs, but going for massive games in terms of scale and file size. There's absolutely no reason that Modern Warfare needs to be over 200 gigabytes. Being buggy and unplayable, but also uninspired. In the era of every single thing needing to be a remake, this era of large companies prioritizing doing what's safe and pleasing shareholders leads to the same games with less and less content being released over and over again at an expensive cost. Sure, a big game staying $60 for several decades technically means games have gotten cheaper over time due to inflation. $60 in 1996 has the same buying power as $120 today. That's like twice the price. But really? Modern Warfare 2? Again? Really? Modern Warfare 3? Again? Do you know how difficult it is searching for things when they just didn't change the name of the new game? This drives me insane. They could have released Modern Warfare 2, or Modern Warfare 3, the remake. Just give me something. Instead of innovation in gameplay and discovering new ways to optimize games through creativity and how they manipulated memory to fit on the tiny 64 megabyte cartridges of the N64, now we have juggernaut games that have no business being over 100 gigabytes, which I just find ridiculous. Like, did you even try optimizing anything? Why is Fortnite 90 gigabytes? Why? Why is 2K now consistently over 100 gigabytes? That's just a side note that's always always pissed me off, but studios are clearly getting sloppy in exchange for time and money. Why wait a few more years to put out a beautiful, working, exceptional title like Zelda Breath of the Wild when you could just pump out a Pokemon game every year in worse and worse condition and make an even more exorbitant amount of cash? Vast open world with nothing interesting to look for or find just to call it open world. And sure, many games do this well, but maybe focus on a great gameplay experience before just jumping into the open world trend. Because games that release in unplayable conditions mostly end up with a quickly dwindling player base.
Yeah, we're just going to B. We'll be there soon. No worries. Yep. Off the B flag. It's around this direction. Yep. This direction. Yep. I think we're going the right way.
That couldn't play when there was hype around the game, and never stuck with it or opened it again due to the sour taste it left in their mouths, even if the developers fixed some bugs and glitches post-release. Like taking a delicious pie out of the oven before it's done, so it's just like hot, soupy egg that might give you salmonella. There's a reason games like Red Dead 2 and GTA 5 have a dedicated fan base to this day, playing online and solo. Even if you need to pick up each can of beans one at a time, Rockstar did something right, and it's releasing a game that's done. The bar is on the ground. But first, a short commercial break with today's video sponsor, Factor. Factor is a meal delivery service with meal. Now back to the video. But in the wake of AAA studios losing trust and consistency in the...
You know what? I'll stop her video right here, and I'll kind of go more into the discussion of what I want to talk about. Obviously, kind of reiterating on what her points were. So, in my opinion, the main problem with gaming at the moment is simply the fact that it's a business. that is the main problem with gaming at the moment. We went from, and I did a video about this a couple of years ago. We went from the loot box epidemic, we went from, you know, the battle pass epidemic to now just the games as a service epidemic, the live service epidemic. And the reason why this is an epidemic is because every game studio is trying to make a live service purely so that they can get money consistently while putting in the least amount of effort. It's a lot cheaper to create a world for people to come in and constantly spend money than it is to make different games with different ideas every single time. That's the whole reason why we rarely get any games anymore. It's also because of the increased dev time of obviously games becoming a lot more complicated, but as you probably know, a lot of these devs aren't even utilizing the power of, you know, new consoles or even new technology to where they could be. And that's what's kind of sad about it, is because again, it's just due to money. Now, again, the reason why you have, I forgot what the Rip Me Off guy's name was, why you have him as a CEO is because he's greedy. It's because he's constantly pushing these monetization practices so they can constantly keep siphoning money out of their consumer base. It's really sad when you really do think about it, because the reason why gaming got big in the first place was because of the, you know, the old elite, you know, it was the Final Fantasies of the world, it was the, I'm trying to think, GTA's obviously, but, you know, GTA had GTA Online, but GTA has always been good. It was the, why am I blanking on really good games? The Zeldas. You get what I'm trying to say? All these old classics were the reason why people got into gaming in the first place. Even Pokemon back in the day when it was actually pushing boundaries, but nowadays, what's it become? A yearly cash grab, you know? And this is the reason why you then see, you know, the indies doing so well. You have Helldivers 2 doing very well. You have Lethal Company, £10 doing very well. The guy that made Lethal Company, I promise you right now, is probably a millionaire. Not billionaire, but I mean, he's definitely a millionaire. The reason why these games are doing so well is because for the price point they are giving, you're getting so much value. Whereas nowadays, 2K, like for example, NBA 2K, is the game really worth £70? No. Is it worth 60? Probably not, no. It's the same game you bought last year, but you have to now grind your way back up to get your character to 99 overall again. That's the reason why people wait for the sale and then buy a VC. Or they game share and buy a VC. Because that's what they think the game is actually worth. The game is worth £30 with 400k VC. That's what they think it's worth. You know, it's the £70 price point or the $70 price point is obviously going to come into effect. But the reason why so many people fight against it, and the reason why, because there's studies even done it into this, the reason why people aren't even playing new games as they come out, like there's legit a large proportion of gamers that do not even touch new games, is because the price that they give is just not worth the value they're getting in return. You know, back in the day, obviously a game could be $60, and obviously in 1996 it was £120, but you were getting a very new experience. Like for example, it'd probably be Super Mario 64 or Final Fantasy 7. You're getting a multi-disc, a multi-hour experience, or a very unique experience. Nowadays, I'm paying £70 for what? 2K for the next year. I'm paying £70 for what? Call of Duty again, you know. It's just really sad. And I know this wasn't really a, you know, narrative or story focused video, but, you know, I thought this would be fun at least to speak about, because, you know, I've done videos like this about this exact topic in the past. But yeah, man, it's just I wouldn't say it's so sad, just purely because of the fact that you can always go back and play old games, you know. You can always go back. Like that's what I usually do now. Like I'm legit a retro gamer. Like I don't really play new games. I wait maybe a couple of years, I might get down to a newer game, but I don't really play new games like that. Like obviously I've got my little vices like 2K here and there because I'm a basketball fan, you know, WWE, you know, got back into WWE, but mostly if I'm gonna play big large experiences, or I'm gonna try something that's, you know, I want to try something and get into something, you know, I'm going to look into the past libraries. I'm going to look at older games because they're going to give you the most value than what we get nowadays. But, you know, that's just the way the cookie crumbles, I guess. And the last thing I did want to talk about is obviously the Ubisoft thing as well, with obviously Game Pass, Ubisoft, you know, trying to make it so that we only have licenses to games. And I mean, we technically do legally. But the reason why that game preservation and also being able to essentially own your media is so important is so these companies can't screw you over like Ubisoft did with The Crew. That's the reason why people are so passionate about game preservation, because it is getting to a dangerous point where soon we might even have games that are streamed. You know, we might not even have downloaded games. It might just be streaming. You know, cloud games. You know how crazy that would be. And at that point, think about it, you spend £70 for a cloud game, but the server goes down 2 years down the line. You just wasted money. You get what I'm trying to say? So, you know, it's becoming a very, very, I guess, interesting industry, because honestly, I know there's probably going to be a lot more people like me that are just going to go back to older games if that happens on all my days. Don't know what that was, but I'm going to end the video off here. Obviously, I don't want to ramble off for too long. So thank you guys very much for watching. If you like my commentary and are new to the channel, please leave a like and also subscribe, because that very much helped me out. And I'll see you guys next time. Take care and have a blessed day.